up, y'all? It's your girl, Ashley Conyers, the Divine Glow Coach. Welcome back to another episode of your Divine Glow podcast, where we talk all about faith, purpose, and growth. We help you align with God's will, break through mental barriers, and boldly step into your God-given calling. Today, we have a very special guest. All my guests are special, okay? And she is new to the space. And I think y'all are going to love her, okay? I want to welcome Ashanti Hankins to the space. Hey, girl.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course. Girl, once we got into the nitty gritty and we started talking, I was like, oh, you got a story to tell.
Yes, I do.
And we going to get deep. So I love that you're here. I love that you opened up yourself to even be on the mic. How does it feel to be in the seat?
It feels good because I know that I'm doing something that I'm supposed to do. So I told you a lot of times, like, I've talked to myself, I've talked to people, but I know that sharing my story, sharing my experience, sharing my path and like what I'm doing is something that I'm supposed to do. So it feels natural.
Yes.
Like, I'm in my purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's give it up. Okay. I love that. And this is your first podcast?
This is my very first podcast.
Hey.
Very first
we
podcast.
Love that. Well,
yes.
Welcome on. I love the fact that, again, you were opening up yourself to this. Please let everybody know who Ashanti is.
Ashanti is first a special educator. I am a special educator new to content creation. So it's a faith-focused content creation. Sharing my journey with God, sharing my, essentially like my rebirth, being more connected to Christ and just allowing myself to flourish while I'm learning new things about me, learning new things about my connection with Christ, my connection with God, and taking my time with it.
That is beautiful. And I love the fact that you have owned it, right? Because a lot of the times, we're still trying to figure out our identity. Is it something that, I know you're a special education educator as well, but is the faith-based content creator the newest part of you? And like, how does that feel stepping into that role?
That is the very, very newest part of me. Content creation in general is new to me. Documenting my experiences are new to me. Sharing it with other people outside of my friends and my family is new to me. So not only am I creating content on my everyday journey with God, what I'm experiencing, the feelings that I've experienced, the hardships that I'm experiencing, how I'm getting through it, how I am surrendering my thoughts and those overthinking thoughts to God, and what I'm doing for my self-care in those moments. I've gotten into documenting my fitness journeys and now creating fitness content. So it's like all of this is new to me. Sharing me with everybody that is essentially like outside of my world is new, but it feels good. The feedback that I've been getting is amazing. The support, like, you are so supportive that like I feel good.
I mean, you're glowing just talking about it. I love that you're in this space, and it just it's so good to see you, just flourish in this way, because it's like you unlock that another version of yourself that, not to say you didn't know who that was, but it's just like you kind of knew it was always there, but you didn't know really how to step into it. So I'm glad that you got past that fear, past those, like, that overthinking, even though sometimes we still overthink a lot,
still do.
But it's still, now you're at a part of your journey where you're like, we're leveling it up real well. So so What made you want to do all of this though? Like with like sharing your journey, right? Because you told me that you was on a 365-day journey
Yes.
and documenting, you know, your life, your thoughts, your feelings. So what really prompted you to do this?
I kid you not. I was at work and I spent the last few weeks of 2024 just really sitting in my like my thoughts of like I had a heightened anxiety. Like, where am I? Why do I feel lost? Like, why don't I kind of questioned who I am in like that moment. Where am I going? What's next? And me, I'm a futuristic thinker. So I'm always like, what's next after this? What's next after this? After accomplishments, after achievements, what's next? What's next? And still not feeling satisfied. And I'm like, what am I missing? I pray every day. I know God, but I felt like I didn't know him in the way that I should. And so I would reach out and say like, Mom, like, what do I need to do to better my relationship? Like, what do I need to do to better my relationship with God? And she's like, are you reading your Bible? And I'm like,
Yeah.
but I pray every day.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me buckle in. What do I asked my mom what I need to do? And I'm like, Mom knows best. Okay. So let me start this 365-day journey. I'm on a Bible challenge. I'm reading my Bible every day.
Yeah.
I'm using my discipline. So I have fitness discipline. I wake up every day. I go to the gym, right? I'm meal prepping every week. I'm making sure that I'm hitting these fitness goals. If I can be so consistent in that, I can be consistent in reading my Bible every day.
Yes.
So I'm like, all right, this is the goal that I set for myself. And as I document, or as I'm reading my Bible every day, as I'm journaling, as I'm doing self-reflections, I'm going to also document my journey as I'm doing this, because I know that there's going to be highs and lows. And in fact, here we are 2 months in, right? And there's highs and lows. But as I'm going through these days, I'm like, wow, some days I'm like really up here, and some days I'm like down here. But the days that I feel low, what am I doing? I'm not like, oh, I'm going to sit in it. I'm like, let me go read my Bible.
Yeah.
Like, what was the word for today? Did I read my Bible?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm feeling low. Like, what was the word of the day today?
And that's the thing, is like, you know, that should be our go-to solution when we are in that low place, and just getting in his presence, and opening. It's the living word. You know what I'm saying? It will read you. It will speak to you. And I love that you just compared it to fitness, because we have so much discipline in other areas of our lives, but then when it comes to our relationship, I mean, I even spoke about this in another time, like our relationship with other people, right? Human beings, like we're so disciplined in that as well. But when it comes to God and Jesus and in cultivating that relationship, we just fall short sometimes. And I think it is because, not to say that he doesn't call us, because trust me, there's many times and he's like, Ash, hey Ash, I'm here, like, you calling? And then we just, you know, we don't answer him. But I believe that when we make it very intentional, you know, like we are opening our Bible. Like, I love the fact that you're making it a challenge for yourself, because within the challenge, you're going to create that habit. In the challenge, like, you're already 2 months in, but they say it takes 21 days to create a habit.
Yes,
like,
it does.
You're well past that at this point. So how does it feel now that it's, I mean, you're going into your 3rd month? Like, how has your mindset changed? How is your discipline? Like, do you see a lot of difference? And like, what has that experience been like going into month number 3?
So going into month number 3, I can tell you right now that the difference for me is, I don't know and I don't want to say that this is a coincidence because I don't want to claim it as that, but I will say that as I'm going through these daily challenges, and every day is different, every time I'm reading chapters or verses, I'm like, God is telling me to do this. Like, okay, this is what I interpreted. God is telling me to do this. And I'll tell you, for instance, I remember when we were talking about, we were just reflecting on the week, and I said, I woke up this morning and I felt very like I just wasn't motivated. I wasn't motivated to go to work. I'm like, what am I doing? This is not where I should be right now.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I told you I read 6 chapters. I was just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Today is not my gym day, but I am going to read this Bible because I need something to fulfill me. And I know that this is going to do it. And when I read it, I believe it was it Job? No, it was Joseph. Yes, it was Joseph. And I said that, I read these chapters and it told me that Joseph went through highs and lows, and he never questioned God to say, why are you putting me through this? Why is this happening to me? Why do I continue to have these hardships? Every time that he came through a hardship, he called on God and said, God, I know that you're with me. I know that you're going to protect me. So I'm going to see through.
Yeah.
And God was with him at every step of the way.
Yeah.
And he kept surpassing every obstacle that he went through. And in the end, he was exactly where he was supposed to be because he ended up helping his family from being famished.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, if Joseph could go through slavery, if Joseph could go through prison, if Joseph could go through all of these things, being sold off by his family, by his brothers, I could be in this position that God has me in right now because he's telling me that it may feel hard to you right now, but I'm preparing you for something greater.
Yes.
So hold tight. Know that I'm with you.
Yeah.
Keep praying. You got this.
Yes. Amen. Look.
So I'm like, and that I have kept with this mantra for 2025. I'm like, God got me, God got you, God got us.
Yes,
like, God got all of us.
I love that.
Breathe.
Yeah.
So that going into month 3, I'm like, listen, it's hard. Some days are better than others, but I know at the end of the day, God got me. So when I'm able to reflect on my Bible and I'm reading those verses and I'm reading those chapters, that is my reassurance. Like, God is reassuring me. So I have this Bible that's with me all the time. And I mean, like, printed form, okay, iPad, phone, everything. I'm carrying you with me. Yeah. I am everywhere. So when I need it, I'm reflecting.
That is.
We're using the tools, right?
Yeah.
This
makes me think too. It's like sometimes despite the challenge, like, we do not want to open the Bible, right? Like, that's a very real thing. I'm going to be very transparent. Like, I would say, like, last week, that was for me. Like, I didn't open it. Like, I'm just now catching up on my devotional. Like, you know, I'm not hard on myself about it, but I just noticed, like, there's just obviously that we all go through it. There's some times where I just don't want to open it. So in those times, what do you tell yourself?
In those times, I'm giving myself grace. Because that's what Jesus would do.
Right.
Give me grace, show me mercy. So that's what I'm showing myself. That's what I'm showing others. So I got to start with self first.
Yeah.
So in those times, I'm not telling myself, oh, well, you should have did this. It's like, you know what? You didn't do it today, but that's okay. Like, I prayed, and I have reminders, like self reminders on my mirrors, on my planners. It's like, did you pray about it? Yeah. So it's like, all right, I made sure I prayed today. I might not have opened my Bible today, but I made sure that I prayed today. Yeah. I still get my reminders for the verse of the day. So I'm reading the verse of the day, but I'm still showing myself grace, because just because I didn't open up the Bible that one day, it's not a setback for me. Yeah. It's not a setback. It doesn't mean that I'm lacking or anything of that nature. I give my mind rest.
Yeah, that's a good point too. It's like, just because we are not in the Bible every single day doesn't mean that we're still not spending time, because you can spend time in prayer, like you said. You can spend time in worship. Absolutely. We were literally on the way over here talking about like how just working out is a form of worship. Yes. You know, and yeah, like some days you're just not going to open the Bible, and that's okay. But there's other outlets that you could be in his presence. Sometimes even just being still, you know, being in the quiet, like, moment with him is just good enough, because he's still going to speak to you, you know, whether through the word or not. You just have to make yourself available and open to him in that way. So that is such a good point. Yeah. Such a good point. I want to actually pivot a little bit, because a big thing that's been on my mind lately has been relationships, girl. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is like a huge pivot, but I know that you and I have just similar stories, and I know, sip that water, girl, because I think this is something that we need to chat about, because a lot of us, we come from, and I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna preface this, because I am no relationship guru. I'm not the relationship podcast, okay? But this is all about testimony, okay? So bear with me. But I wanted to bring this to the table because I feel like you and I come from a worldly perspective of relationships, versus now stepping into a different mindset and a more quote unquote godly, right? Perspective of what a relationship should be and could be, right? So what is your experience, like what would you say has been your experience with relationships up until now?
Deep breath. My experience with relationships up until now have been just like life, up and down. There's been ups and downs in every relationship that I've had up until now. And now I have no relationship. The only relationship I have is with God and Jesus Christ. And I decided to take a break for myself to build on knowing my own and getting centered in myself, because sometimes when you don't know yourself, or you are searching for something and you are not connected to Jesus Christ or God as you say you are, you seek out relationships that are to almost fill that void, right? Yeah. And they may not be the healthiest. Yeah. Typically, they're not the healthiest. And you continue to have these hardships in those relationships, and you're like, well, why do I keep having this hardship? Why is this relationship so hard? Why is it not working? I love this person. Why does this keep happening? God is trying to speak to you, but you're not listening. You're still trying to push. Like, I can control this. If I just change this aspect of myself, this may work. If I just change this may work. And God is telling you, all of those things that you changed about yourself to fit this mold didn't work. And I'm still trying to speak to you, and you're not hearing me. So the more you fight, the more he humbles you. Yeah. And so I said, you know what? You're telling me to sit down. Like, you're telling me be still connect with me, know God's love first before you seek out anything else, because whatever is meant for you, I will send to you.
Amen.
You don't have to search for anything.
No.
And so when you start searching, sometimes you find things that you don't want to find.
Yeah, that reminds me of a Rihanna like quote in a Vogue magazine that I bought like over 10 years ago. And one thing I took away from her interview, she was like, I'm just waiting for the man ballsy enough to like approach me. And because when you go searching for things, you find the wrong ish. You know she be sprinkling. But I was like, girl, yes, like that. I don't ever want to go searching for something I don't need. Like I don't want to go searching for something that wasn't meant for me. I'm just saying, like I've just been in relationship with people that I'm just like, I thought was was what I was looking for, but in actuality I didn't even know what I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to feel something. Like, and when I felt something, I just like attached myself to it, but it wasn't something that God called me to at all. And I want to like backtrack really quick because I want people to become very clear on what what I mean by worldly relationships and like godly relationships. And by worldly, I think of it this way, we're in a world where like we're online dating, where we have these like timelines and we have these, not to say we all have standards, but it's like we have this strict layout of like, for example, if he didn't ask me to be his girlfriend in 3 months, well, he ain't the one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's worldly. If he ain't doing X, Y, and Z, if she ain't doing X, Y, and Z, it's like, all right, now in a godly relationship, it's like those timelines don't even matter. The thing that you perceive as love, what does that mean to you? Because in the Bible, right, like God is love. Is this if we want to talk about what is it, 1 Corinthians 13, like love is kind, love is patient, and all these things, like is this person displaying that? Are we going off about bank accounts and what the material things and possess? Like
love does not judge.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very, I don't want to say thin line, because to me the line looks very thick. To me, it feels very different, and I think a lot of us, when we are in these relationships that are not meant for us too, it's like we go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like there's times where it's like you become so impatient, and it's just like, no, like again, love is patient. Love is about patience. You want to get to know somebody. You want to flow with somebody. Like there's no, I know you want to say something, so I'm gonna be quiet. But like I'm just saying, this is something that takes time. The love that God wants for you, it takes time.
Can I tell on myself?
Go for it.
Okay. I was that. Like I was exactly that person. Same. The person of like, I want this now. Like, this is what I want right now. This is what I expect. If it's not this, it's nothing. Right? And that is another reason why I dived into my 365-day journey, because I'm like, this can't be the way. Right? Because I'm moving from relationship to relationship. Like, almost they're calling me like, you're a relationship person. Like you're a relationship girl. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But then it's like, I've never not been in a relationship, and I had to self-reflect of, why do I keep going from this? Like, if this relationship doesn't serve me, all right, I'm moving to the next relationship. This relationship doesn't serve me, then what? The common denominator for me, I'm like, the common denominator is me. So what am I searching for? And so I buckled down, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is not God's love. And that is why you are so on the search. That is why you feel like, why isn't my love being reciprocated? I'm giving this type of love. Why isn't this love being reciprocated? Why am I having so much difficulty in finding my person? I felt like God sent you. What's happening?
Yeah, it's like
I idolized.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, like, that we get so caught up in fantasizing.
Yes.
And I'm guilty too, girl. That's why we sitting here talking about it. Because, like, I used to, and I'm a relationship girl too. Like, I want to be with my person. Yes. I want to be, like, I want a family. I want the whole nine. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to waste time, you know? But it's not about my time. It's about God's time. So I can empathize with just like, wow, like I meet somebody and then I'm like, we have this connection, and then it's just like, now you got me thinking, and now I'm like idolizing this. Oh, we gonna be here, we gonna be there, this is gonna be this, and then when it don't happen, now I'm scrambling trying to control the situation, and God is looking down like, looking at us like, child, what did I say? What is going on?
Yes.
So it's like, it's very, I look back at how I used to act, and I'm just like, girl, if only you knew. Like, if only you knew. But the beauty of it is we know now, you know? And what I will say is, like, the relationships that I've had or been in, all of them didn't even push me closer to God. Like, when you think in hindsight, I'm like, if I'm going to be in a relationship, the relationship has to, like, God-centered, has to, like, really be in the midst of him. And I have to know that he's there and he's honoring this. Like, nothing about my past was in honor of him. And what I was doing, like, it just didn't make sense. So have you had that experience as well, where it's like, oh, I see you nodding your head, yes, but, like, in what way, you know, has that relationship of yours or any one of them pulled you away from God?
It pulled me away from God because I don't want to say the strife, but I know that God wasn't the focus. And I don't want to say that the relationship pulled me away from God, because I have to take accountability. And so I know that my relationship with God was already tricky because I wasn't consistent in walking by faith. I'm like, solely what I see right now is what it is. And so you spoke about, like, controlling the different aspects. So I'm like, I'm an overthinker. So I overthink about everything. And a partnership, I'm really locked in, like, all right, in a year we're gonna get married, and then after this year we're gonna have this family, and then after this year we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do, and I'm planning out all of these aspects, and I'm like, we skipped a few steps here. Like, God is not the center. Are we learning each other? Do I really know you? Like, do I really know you? Do you know God? Because I never even asked you that. I never even asked you, like, who is God to you?
Yeah, that's real.
And so now I'm at the point where God is my center. God is my focus. And although I am not looking, whatever it is will come to me. I'm not even in that mindset of, okay, I'm preparing myself for it, right, for a relationship, but I'm not searching for it. So with that being said, I know that the partner that God does send me God will also be the focus. Like, God will also be their center. Yeah. Because I need that. Like, I need that. I know that is the foundation, friendship foundation, God's foundation. Without it, I don't know. It's gonna be just a recurring factor of everything else that I've had. And when you want different, you have to do different things.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That the thing about just even just getting to the point of that like realization though, it's like for me, I used to reflect. I'm like, dang, I had to go through all of that just to get here, bro. Like, like, I mean, I'm not saying I regret it, right? But it's at a point where it's just like, I could have saved so much time, and to be very transparent with you, like, I feel like sometimes I wasted my 20s. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I feel like sometimes I do feel like that. But then I have to remind myself, I'm like, you know what, Ashley, you didn't waste it. You learned valuable lessons that you carry with you now. That way, like, in your 30s, you're like, okay, I know how to approach this. I know how to approach that. Because when I look at, like, my friends, right, I'm like, oh, they were dating. They were doing all the things. But you know how much hurt I probably even though I guess I went through things, you know how much more pain or hurt that I saved myself from not doing the things that I wasn't doing. 'Cause God even knew, like, I probably couldn't even handle that. But, it's like I used to just compare myself, and I was in that mindset of, well, if I did those worldly things of like dating and online dating and like, doing what normal 20-year-olds do, then like, I would be in a different space. But that's really not the case. So
it's not the case because this is my big thing about comparison, because there are some 20-year-olds that do those worldly things, right? But there are some 20-year-olds that are faith focused,
right,
God based, and they are in their committed, loving, God centered relationship.
Right.
And they're thriving. And when I say thriving, I don't mean that they're always on a high, like everything is great all the time, because that's not realistic. But even through their hardships, they're like, you know what, we got to pray about it.
Right. Yeah.
That's the togetherness. Like, we got to pray about it.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know what, you're not making enough money for me. All right, I got to leave. Okay.
Yes.
You're not buying me this car.
Yeah.
I'm done with you. No. How are we building together?
Yeah. Just having the kingdom. Like,
having the kingdom.
Yeah.
How are we building together? What's next?
Yeah.
Right?
It's really different.
Let's pray about it.
Yeah. And again, I'm talking, like, when I think about my 20s, I'm talking from a different mindset.
Yeah.
Like, that's my worldly, perspective. Now I'm like, yeah, I want that. Like, I literally say I want my purpose partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want my purpose partner. I don't want just a husband, like, yeah, that's a good title, but like, what is the purpose? Why are we together? Why is God bringing us together? What's the bigger picture here? Because yeah, after the wedding's done, after the reception and all the good things, like, we got work to do. Like, that's when the real work begins. So, I want to make sure that, us as women going into relationships, we have a better understanding of what we're looking for, and not just base it off these superficial
materialistic
things. Yes.
Yeah.
And things that just don't matter. Like, things that just really don't matter. So I want to also go to just like the present moment, right? And talk about something that I've also been just practicing, right? Is abstinence. And I have struggled a lot with temptation myself. I've struggled a lot with it's probably the first time I'm ever saying this on camera.
I won't tell nobody.
It's just like a lot of when I was younger, I would watch porn and I think since 5th grade, bro. Like, it's been a long time. I used to have a lot of like the sex toys and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, and honestly, that, like, I wouldn't tell anybody. Like, I would hide it. And I guess in a way I was like ashamed, did I feel guilty? Yeah. Like, but it's the thing of like, I kept doing it and I didn't know how to stop. Right. So it wasn't until literally like 2021 when I stopped. Like, I literally was isolated by myself, and that's when I started to lock in with God. That's the same year that I got baptized in the tub. My mom baptized me in the tub because it was like around quarantine. And pretty much it was so hard to let that go, but I just knew I had to stop indulging in those things. Like, my flesh was on fire. Like, my spirit was so weak, and I just knew I had to change both of them. Well, just change it, period, and just feed my spirit a lot more. So with practicing abstinence, for me, I really wanted to make sure that it also changed the way I viewed relationships in general. Because if someone is approaching you with like, I want to like, I want to be intimate with you. I want to like just like and do all the things like this fast. I'm like, ooh, that's not love. I used to think that sex was love.
Lust.
I used to think sex was love. I used to think, oh, well, they want to have sex with me. They love me. What, girl? Oh my gosh. I was bamboozled.
It's not the you they love.
I know. It was so bad. But my question to you after all that is just, are you in a state of practicing abstinence? And if so, like, does it change your perspective too on relationships?
Absolutely. Like,
in what way?
Don't even try, because it's not happening. Like, it's changed my perspective. Not only my perspective, but my mindset. Like, I think more logically versus like emotionally. I don't move with emotion to say, like, that's how when you said, oh, they love me because they like my body, they want to have sex with me, like, you must feel deeply for me, right? So I also like correlated the two. And then when I stopped having sex and I practiced abstinence, I'm like, you're just like, you are obsessed with my body. You think I look good.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Like, you don't want to get to know my mind. You don't want to get to know my soul, my spirit. You don't care about anything about that. It's just like, I just want that temptation. Like, I just want what you got right now. So that's helped me push it aside. Like, you know what? You got to set to the side, because I know God didn't send you.
Yeah.
Like, I know God didn't send you. He wouldn't send nobody like you. So, all right, you need to step to the left, clear the path, because you blocking my view right now.
Yeah.
And so that has helped me be more intentional about people that I give my time to. And even in giving my time, again, like, on the basis of friendships, like building friendships. I want to get to know you. Who are you? I want you to get to know me, of who I am.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know who we are, and I realized that, like, a lot of the relationships that I had, I might not have known you for real. And we were just obsessed with the lust of it all and the idea of it all.
Yeah.
Because when hardships really came down to it,
what?
It folded.
What?
It folded like nobody's business.
Folded like a chair.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's how I know it wasn't God-centered and it wasn't love-centered.
Yeah.
Because love doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So with me practicing abstinence, I know that one, sex is not, and I'm not being facetious. I'm being honest. Like, sex is not on my brain. It's been so long that it's not even in my view.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I want to get to know you. Like, I want to get to know who you are. I want you to know me.
Right.
Because I already know what comes with that. Like, I already know what comes with sex.
Right.
I've been there. So it's not something that I got to keep doing this.
Yeah.
I've been there. I know what it's like.
Absolutely.
I know what it's like. I want you to know me. I want to know that you think more of me than just my attributes.
Right. No, that's a big thing. Like, just the foundation piece is so important, and we forget about that. Friendship. Like, friendship with any relationship, like, we're not going back to what we said about going from 0 to 100. Like, we skipped all over the friendship part. We just like, hey, I know you are I'm attracted. You attracted to me. I know I want to do this, so I'm going to act on my flesh, and we just going to figure it out on the way. Like, no. Like, I don't even know what they say. I don't know your favorite color, but, like, I don't need.
And it's true.
Like, I need to know, besides that, it goes deeper than that. I feel like that's even surface level, but, like, it goes deeper. Like, I want to know your habits. I want to know your mindset, bruh. Like, I need to know your mind. Like, how are you even your patterns, right? Like, your behavioral patterns. What is it that ticks you off? What is the thing that you're really annoyed by? Because these are maybe they don't mesh with me. Maybe don't. And then now you're giving up something that is so sacred, right? You're giving up something that's so sacred and that was meant for one person. And now what? Like, now you're about to cause all this chaos and drama unnecessarily, And I just want better for us, And I'm glad that, we've had our own experiences to even, like, talk about this, right? Like, to even share, like, okay, this is what I've been through and this is what I want you to know. Because, like, a lot of the times we could save so many people from no, let me preface this again. People have to go through their own lesson.
They do. But
I'm just saying, like, just planting a seed, right, is so important. And I think even if people who watch or listen to this, like, we were planting the seeds. So even if they're in the midst of whatever that they're going through, they're like, oh, wow. Like, I never thought about it like that. So it's like, I'm just so thankful that you're here sharing your wisdom, because just like lover girl to lover girl.
Big lover girls.
Yes. Like, I just want us to know better and do better and, like, just step into what God is calling us to be. And we are wives, you know what I'm saying? And
very much.
I love the fact that as well, before I say that, something came to my mind because I kept saying abstinence, right? There's so many times that I come across different posts on social media and they use the word celibate or celibacy.
Yes.
And I'm like, there's a difference here. And check me if I'm wrong, but isn't abstinence like just you're waiting until marriage, right? Yes. Like, it's very a short term, and then celibacy is like long term, like forever long. Is that how you would define it?
Yes, so I agree. That's how I would define it. Like, abstinence is like waiting until marriage, and celibacy is like I'm steering clear for however long. I don't.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I think we mix up the two a lot of the times, and then now we're like misinforming people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't want to be, misinforming people.
No,
but like
abstinence, waiting until marriage.
Yeah.
Waiting for my person, your person, type of thing. We're not just out here passing the puck around. Yeah. No, thank you.
Not the puck.
The puck.
Okay, I ain't call my thing a puck. Like, you can have that. Girl, no. Jeez. But so now we're single women,
Yes,
right?
very much.
Do you ever find yourself lonely and some loneliness? Not the face.
I'm never lonely.
Okay.
God is with me every day.
I know that's right.
I am never alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never alone. And outside of that, I am catering to myself. I'm romanticizing my own life, my own single life.
Mm-hmm.
When I make dinner for myself, I light a candle. I light my candle. Okay. I set myself up. I'm sitting at my dining room table. Like I'm sitting on my dining room table and I'm spending time with myself. When I go out, like I love to roller skate. And I'm like, this is something I'm doing to help me also enjoy me. Like I want to enjoy my own self. I am filling into me, filling my own cup so that when the time comes, whomever that person is, they know how to love me because they see how I show myself love. I am buying myself flowers.
Yes.
I see those flowers every day and I'm like, who bought those flowers for you? Oh, I bought those flowers for me. Those are my flowers. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't feel alone. I don't have that need to be like, you know what? I wish I had someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the winter does that to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
The winter's like, oh, I wish I had someone to be with right now. I might go back to that ex because you know what?
The holidays are
The holidays. I need somebody. It's like, no, you need God.
Yeah.
You need
real.
God.
Yeah.
When that comes in your mind, like, I need somebody. It's like, self-reflect. You need God.
Yeah. That's like a non-negotiable at this point.
Absolutely.
It's like, listen, if you're going to come up in this space, we gonna need God.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's the thing too. I can relate. I think when I first was on my like single journey or season, right? And I wouldn't say it was loneliness. I mean, I'm an only child, so like, I was always like, I had my alone time, so it never felt different. But yeah, when I was in a relationship, I would always be with that person. And so, yeah, times loneliness maybe, but it was always like, well, I wish I could go this place with a person, right? Until I had to rewire my brain and be like, you know what, like you said, I'm not alone. I have to romanticize what this is by myself. We phrase it like solo dates and or dates with Jesus and God, and I started to go into that more of that mindset, like, okay, God, like we going out to the restaurants today, like what you treating? Okay, cool. Like, and the funny thing about it is, like, I would go out to places and he will show up. Like, there will be so many surprises that I'm just like, God, no, you didn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just have to just put yourself out there in a way that, like, and you never know who you may meet. God is placing you in a singleness season to prepare you, to prune you and all the things, and to really like just get right with him as well. And the thing about the singleness season is, like, we look at it so much of like a curse, so to speak, when it's like, this is the biggest blessing. You will never get this time back. Once you are married, once you have kids, there is no more of silence.
Your house will never be that peaceful again.
No.
And when I say peaceful, I don't mean peaceful as in serenity. I mean, like, it will never be that quiet.
Quiet, yeah.
Okay, because it will be peaceful, obviously. You'll be with your family, but it will not be that quiet.
Absolutely.
And I also want to say that leaning into the singleness season, I think that we hyper focus on the alone part, right? And like the alone part goes with only romantic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other sacred relationships that we have, friendships, family ships.
Right. Right.
So lean into that, and that's what I've leaned into, is leaning into my family, leaning into my friendships. Like, I see a place and I'm like, ooh, I want to go there. I'm texting, hey, you got, what y'all doing?
Right.
Let's go out. Let's go out. And so me and my friends are single. So
Yeah.
so the single ladies are going out.
Absolutely.
We're enjoying each other. Like, we're enjoying our time. We're spending time with each other. We're showing each other love. That is also a way that we know what love looks like, right? Like, these are our sisters, these are our friends. So it's not about just or fostering like romantic relationships, but like those platonic relationships too. Like, those matter.
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
matter a lot.
Absolutely.
And so in my singleness, like, that's been my go-to too. Like, I not only am I spending time with myself and spending time with God, but I'm also spending time with y'all. Like, I'm spending time with my friends. I'm spending time with my family.
Yeah, we forget so much of the types of love that we have. Given that Valentine's Day passed, right?
Yeah.
And being that we single, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course we lean on God. Of course we lean, we look inward, but we so quickly forget about the familiar love, the platonic love that you said is the love. We are showing so much love in other ways by different people every day, and that the ways of the world only focuses on the romantic, intimacy, and there's intimacy everywhere. You and I just talking we're intimate right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we need to just take certain words and just flip like what they look like, or just see other perspectives of them, right? It's just like we get so stuck on what the movies look like and like the shows, and it's just like, no. There's so much more to that, and I love that you brought that up. Is it well, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm going to leave you with this question, and I just want to know, what does love mean to you?
Love to me, love to me means that there is no judgment, that there is understanding. You're showing grace, not just to your partner, but yourself. Love holds space for forgiveness. Without forgiveness, there's no growth, right? You're stagnant. Love is kind and merciful, and love is abundant. Like, there's so much love. There's so much love to give, and I know that I'm a lover girl. So you touch, like, this is my question.
Yeah.
Like, I think that love is patient and gentle, is brave, is courageous. It's all of those things. Like, love is not only just a word, like, it's an action. Like, you have to actively do it. It's something that you have to choose to do every day. And
Yeah. But what you described to the certain words that you used, God is love. You know what I'm saying? Once we experience God, we experience love. And a lot of us are looking for that. A lot of us are looking for the love that he provides, that he is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if anything, I just advise more women, not even just women, but people in general, men, women, everybody, get locked in with God, and to experience that love that you deserve. It's different. It hits so different And everything that you said just reminded me of that. I know it's in the Bible.
I was gonna say, like, I learned that from God. That was in Corinthians.
Yeah, well,
like that's not even me. That's God. He taught me.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many scriptures in the Bible that talk about love and His love, and Jesus is the ultimate. Like He's the ultimate sacrifice. Like no one loved us more than that, right? You know, and I just love the fact that you know, a friend of mine actually brought this up too. It's like we are supposed to love everybody, right? My great grandmother, God rest her soul, she used to always tell my mom, and my mom told me that, you know, we should never say we hate other people, right? And even in the Bible, it's like you don't hate people. Never say that. Because once you hate people, it's like you're spiritually dead, you know? And I was like, wow, like I did not know that. And shout out to Scooter because he put me onto that. But yeah, like I forgot if it was like 1 John or 1 Peter, but one of them. And I was like, wow, that's why she used to say, don't ever say you hate somebody, because all that energy you know, take to hate someone, it's just like, that's not of God. God loves everybody. And yeah, that really reminded me of too about what you just said. So yeah, I appreciate you and your insight, your wisdom. And thank you for being here. Do you have any advice or encouragement for the listeners today?
Yes, I will tell you that you are never alone. You always have God. God got you. He has me too. Hold your strength tight. Like, continue to prosper. Keep your head up and keep moving. Know when to be still, because movement is not always required. Walk by faith and not by sight, because we are on God's timing. And when you try to control things on your own, you will be humbled.
Amen. Thank you so much, Ash.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell the audience where they can find you, where they can connect with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Journey with Ash 2 and YouTube at Journey with Ash 2 and TikTok Journey with Ash 2.
Hey, so all of that will be in the description, y'all, and you could please support her. She is definitely on a beautiful, beautiful journey. It's just amazing to watch her growth. And if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell for your girl so you don't miss a next episode that we drop, okay? So if you guys are interested in anything else that has to do with relationships, or just how to grow in a godly relationship, or what that looks like for you, leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer it for you. But until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode. I will catch you in the next one. Continue to let your divine glow shine, baby. Hey.